Look at how this crocodile moves. It's like a swan dancing. Feels like I'm competing with him. Just an idiot with uncoordinated hands and feet. 5 days after the storm, the hunters have heard another piece of bad news. It's today at noon. The temperature will rise into the 40s. And now Troy and Kimchi are having a hard time. After all, they have over 200 tags. It hasn't been filled yet. Obviously, these are tough times. But to be able to save, the crocodile's about to get sunstroke. The two still go hunting without hesitation. Looks like they're desperate for money. And the reason to say so, because of the crocodiles. If you're out in the sun too long, their skin will become dry and cracked. Makes it much less valuable. So the two chose a specific area. A trap was set up. The swamp is highly forested. It's a good way to get the gators to take the bait. Well enough to live long enough for two. With them came the first trap. The Pickle pulls the crocodile straight out. This thing seems a little frisky. How come it's not affected by the heat? Is it because the water temperature is not high? But that doesn't change much. Still shot with a shotgun. Nothing has changed. Meanwhile, Jacob and Little Willie. And because of the heat today, some changes were made. But they didn't say. Instead, he kept talking about it. Crocodiles have been in this sun for a long time. This is what it's going to do. Just like Troy, you are father and son. This character is really like. Soon the two came to the trap. Because now Jacob is here. Little Willie doesn't have to do what he did in the last episode. In that striving belly struggle. Can only pull the crocodile to the surface. And keep it there. You can sit back and wait it out. And Jacob was the stronger one. Let the crocodile dance in there for a while. He killed it in place. As the two pull him into the boat. It looks like it's a little small. Even more fierce than that. There's a slight discrepancy. But makes sense. Why the crocodile was in such a hurry to get away. Look at Zach and Daniel on the other side. Things are better between the two of us. It's not directly in the sun, but this sweltering feeling. It's like a sauna. I'm really afraid of two people for a while. You'll be too weak to fight a crocodile, and then it pulls them into the water. Because crocodiles are cold-blooded animals, unable to regulate his own body temperature. So they're going to be hiding in deep water. Daniel predicted it just yesterday. Booby trapped those places in advance. Looks like these elderly people, still more knowledgeable than everyone else. Otherwise, it could have been deployed in advance. After Zach grabbed the rope, Daniel loaded the bullet too. Looks like he's thinking in this weather. Alligators are not supposed to be very active. Unfortunately, he was wrong. The crocodile put up a strong fight. It should be something pretty big. Try to get out of the water and bite them many times. But it's not like you ran into a gun. It really is. It's stupid. After taking care of this alligator, the two men immediately pulled him into the boat. And the size of the crocodile. Turns out it's not as big as you thought. It's at an average level. This left both men a little disappointed. Bruce and Anna's team at this time. The hunt hasn't started yet. Because Bruce went to an old friend. I was hoping to hear from him. This is how you do it today. But Anna is skeptical. After all, it's so hard to avoid. Then Black arrived. Good thing he didn't know what Anna was thinking. Or he could have just left. After they talked a lot of nonsense. Finally finalized today's plans. Start with Blake at noon. Get the crocodiles off the boat. Avoid being worthless by exposure to the sun. Looks like they really do love money. That's no way to study. Money is the root of all evil. Only people like me. To hold on to it. Haha. Anna now sees a trap ahead. And the crocodile is still moving. Obviously this thing, it's still very active. And they're so happy right now. In this weather, after all, and it can stay that way, indicates that there is no problem with the layout of the trap. It's a good location. How else are we going to catch it? Such an active crocodile. It's just that the two of you ended up a little quick. Looks like it's a hot, dry day. Put them in a bit of a hurry, where they all are, in a way that ensures a single kill. To kill the crocodile. With this 11-foot crocodile on board, and hurriedly covered it with sackcloth. Out of direct sunlight. Let's look at the last team. Laren and Pork Chops at this time. I'm already sweating like a pig. It seems that the skin absorbs heat. It's really strong. They both want to go back now. Watch the Pork Chop pick up the pole. You should know that. They've seen the crocodile. That's why you're so active. Better than the last few teams have seen. Kind of feels like they just took the bait. If I'd have needed the hook, I knew I couldn't break free. Should be laying flat right there. Be a salted fish. Maybe that's it now, too. I don't have the strength to fight it. It didn't even make much of a splash. I was killed by Laren. He's just not in the right state. So depressed. It's like we've just finished a race breeding campaign. The whole person is empty and indecent. Look at Zach and Daniel. The two are no longer in the sauna. Begin to face the warmth of the sun. Of course, this is not good news. In this environment, after all, heat stroke is what it's supposed to be. No one can hide from the past. When Zach was about to grab a rope, suddenly there was a spider. It just got away a little fast. Didn't even let Zach retaliate. So I went on with my work. As the crocodile surfaced, they also quickly moved into combat mode. And that includes the crocodile. He was biting at both of them. But Zach's technique is good. It didn't just turn around. Daniel also delivered a round of bullets. The crocodile's on board. They also managed to get 4. Not in this weather. And to catch so many so fast. Looks like their trap worked after all. Looking back at Troy and the Pickle. Due to this powerful temperature, keep Kimchi very busy right now, for fear that the money would become worthless. Just don't worry about heat stroke. I guess I was overthinking it. That's when he quit. Another half hour passed. They came to a new trap. Kimchi is also immediately forward. There's something wrong with this crocodile. Why do you keep rubbing against trees? Maybe they're in heat right now. Well, that's not true either. That's when Troy suddenly fired a shot. But it didn't hit. In such a hurry, he quickly made up another shot. No words for Troy either. Seeing this giant, you shouldn't be in such a hurry. If one accidentally hits somewhere else, the crocodile skin was damaged. That's how you make money. And Jacob and Little Willie on the other side. The two had already secured several crocodiles. This puts them in a very good mood right now, especially seeing another one. Little Willie went right up there, got that crocodile out of there. Even half his body. They were pulled to the surface. It doesn't look like he's having a hot day and affect their own operations. With the sound of a gunshot, he took the crocodile into the boat to keep the meat and skin intact. 2 people that is not dare to stop. And look at Bruce and Anna on the other side. They have now managed to catch 7 crocodiles. That seems like a lot, but now the temperature is up to 40. Made Anna drink ice water. I don't feel any relief. Maybe just the big crocodiles to get their spirits up again. Or they will be like this. It really doesn't make sense. That was like a dead pair. Right now, you and the crocodile are pulling each other around. The whole person is still very excited. Facing a crocodile attack, I dared to take that step forward. The crocodile was killed as usual, but the heat is taking its toll. So I decided to go to Blake first. He moved the crocodile while he rested there. Laron and Pork Chops on the other side, still trying to hunt the gators. But Laron's body, but it gets worse and worse. The whole person is in a very bad state. Even when I saw the crocodile, I don't have the passion I had before. Fortunately, the Pork Chop does not have this condition. It was easy to kill the crocodile. It's on the side of the boat. Let him fight no matter what. Can't get more than a meter off, until Laron killed him. Just watching the crocodile, both were a little disappointed. This one's only 8 feet in size. It's not worth the effort. But this time, Laron is even more uncomfortable. Even looking at everything. It's all kind of trance and double vision. This makes Pork Chop very worried. Decided to get Laron back to port first. Let him go back to the car and blow the air conditioning to relieve the heat stroke. And look at Jacob and Little Willie in the west. The two are in an awkward situation, although they caught a lot of crocodiles. This makes 2 people very uncomfortable. In this heat, after all, make this a boat thing. There's a good chance it won't work. But before we get to that, the 2 still try to catch the crocodile in front of them. After Little Willie pulled the thing out, immediately increase the strength in your hands. Crocodiles are also rolling over the side of the boat. That's not right. Jacob killed him so fast. Turns out this crocodile is only 8 feet. Looks like it feels a little small. The resistance is not very strong. But they didn't stop. It's about getting up to speed. Let's take a look at Zach and Daniel. The temperature they have here, it's already over 40 degrees. That made them stop. Looks like they both wanted a break a long time ago. Otherwise, it's a decision. I'm already in the shade of a tree. It's what Daniel has in his hand. It feels good. Zach didn't see it that way. I think it's disgusting. The two rested there for half an hour. The hunt resumed. Meanwhile, Anna and Bruce, with a boatload of stuff, came to a large tree. But they waited here for 10 minutes. But there's no sign of Blake. This made them very anxious. I'm afraid there's something wrong with this boat of crocodiles. Fortunately, it didn't last long. Bruce smiled. That's where Blake got to. And then there's nothing to watch. It's just crocodile handling. After emptying the ship of its contents and start hunting again, looking back at a sickler on. At this time, the two men came to the port. He walked slowly to the car. Poor Chop will be alone now. It's weird these last two episodes. Why is there always a Lone Ranger? Maybe it was so we could. It's a little emotional when you watch this. Soon the poor Chop came to the trap, although now he's alone. But the capture of the crocodile, he was still very confident. In the face of this thing's resistance, there's no psychological pressure. Just watching the crocodile roll over there. He was killed in a moment. I didn't expect a pork chop. Crocodiles are also caught very quickly, even in this heat. Were they not affected? Look back at the other side. Troy and Kimchi, and it's dried out by the sun. Still working hard, though. But it did not stay that way. Instead, after we take care of this thing, I was immediately in shadow. Look at Troy in our state. Can be known to work at this high temperature. What happens to people? That's why Kimchi has so much spirit. It's a little weird. The two rested for half an hour and get back to work. And look at Bruce and Anna on the other side. The two are now coasting at high speed. Although they caught a lot of crocodiles this morning. But they've got a little too much wiring. There's still a lot left to check. It made the two men in the heat. I feel a little uncomfortable. As the ship's speed drops, both of them come forward immediately. Just pull the alligator out. I just didn't think of this. I can't believe it got away from Bruce. Fortunately, he did not break free from the trap. Bruce goes up and grabs it again. This crocodile is really strong. He can barely hold on to the rope. It made his hands a little sore. Looks like this crocodile is a big one. But it's a shame. Anna took her chance. He was killed on the spot. The two men quickly pulled the crocodile to the boat. It's just a little difficult. Looks like it's a pretty big thing. Meanwhile, the pork chop. We've managed to get 4 crocodiles. And he got these all by himself. But his health began to deteriorate. I'm going crazy with the heat. But there's still a lot of traps he hasn't checked. This forced him to continue. Seems like a responsible guy after all. As he grabbed the rope again, the crocodile was quickly removed. It's just this one seems a little small. The splash is very little. And the poor chop found his chance. Even though this one is only 6 feet. But such a harvest still makes the pork chop happy. I mean, under the circumstances. Even a giant alligator. He doesn't have much strength to fight it. Looking back at Zach and Daniel, they've already got 13 crocodiles. That's not a lot, though. But it was Daniel who set it up to succeed in getting it. It's not easy at all. Soon they came to another trap. Zach came forward right away. He pulled the alligator out. Look at this huge thing. Daniel's whole body became very excited. Quickly tells Zach to increase his strength. For fear of the crocodile running away. This crocodile is really good, too. I can't believe I can walk around for half a day. But it gave Daniel an opportunity. Dropped the gun after a successful hit. But then the crocodile moved again. Frightened, he quickly picked up the gun again. I gave him a refill. As the crocodile was slowly pulled into the boat, the two became even more excited. I didn't even think of this. It's so big. Look at Troy and Kimchi in the south. A lot of crocodiles have been caught, but now they have another trap. It hasn't been viewed yet. This makes the two very nervous. Suddenly, the two men made a discovery. The crocodile was on the shore. Kimchi quickly picked up the gun. It was 2 bullets to the alligator. Not this time without getting it in the water. This was discovered before, by taking it into the water. I never thought there was such an easy way. Guess these two aren't stupid after all. There's one more thing I can think of. Meanwhile, Jacob and Little Willie, and caught a lot of crocodiles. There's only one last trap left. Just don't know this up there. Whether it is a giant after little Willie pulled it out. Turns out it's huge, too. This made the two very excited. He quickly increased his strength. Let it just roll in place. This thing seems to have learned its wisdom, trying to bite the barrel of a gun. It just doesn't seem to be working, and he was killed by it. This 12-foot alligator, after being successfully pulled aboard. Two people hurriedly to go home, for fear of problems with the crocodiles on board. Looks like there's money to be made after all. I almost thought they didn't care. You don't care about the alligators on the boat. Back to Anna and Bruce on the other side. There's still one last trap left. No, why are you all like this? Follow the two men to the trap. Pick up the speed right away. I guess that's the lure of going home. After pulling the crocodile out of the water, it just went up in the air. Anna sent it to heaven. It just seems a little crunchy. I can't believe the constant bleeding. But after being pulled out of the water, why there is no follow-up? I want to see the fountain when they're done with everything. He sat down to rest. You're starting to talk about it. There's nothing to say. Well, that's all for this program. Give it a thumbs up, and let's look forward to the next episode.